After the Prime Minister tweeted that he joined other African leaders in reiterating that a continent of around 1.3 billion people needs a permanent voice and seat at the United Nations Security Council, represented through a bloc. After he had tweeted that, he tweeted another one, and he said that Ethiopia continues to prioritize strengthening relations with our neighboring countries. I have had and held extensive phone discussions today with the leaders of Djibouti, Kenya, Uganda, Somalia, Eritrea, and South Sudan. We will continue working together on bilateral and regional issues. So to me, I think that the direction the Prime Minister took, and he has continued to take, is the right direction. When we go back to 2020, last year, when the war broke out, actually before the war broke out extensively, when there was a disagreement with Egypt, the Prime Minister, while Egypt went to Egypt, he thought that it was the right thing for them to do, to go to the United Nations and involve at the United States and Europeans into the issues of the Grand Ethiopia Renaissance Dam. We don't know what was the intention, whether it thought that is the best way to solve this issue. But the Prime Minister, while Egypt was at the United Nations and in New York, talking to President Trump, and President Trump was making his reckless remarks. The Prime Minister was in East Africa. He was visiting Uganda. From Uganda, he went to Rwanda. From Rwanda, he went to Kenya. You know, he spoke with the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo. You know, President Tshisekedi, and you can see that he has been making all the right moves as regards to the issue in Ethiopia, and he has continued. You can see even today the tweet which I've just read, that the countries in the region they have really made it clear, and I think we need to applaud also that spirit that has been exhibited. We are not yet there to the extent, to the level where we want Africa to be, whereby we want to move in unison. We want to move as one block. But I think that the right steps have been taken. The leaders have tried and need to be commended, that this spirit that has been shown to Ethiopia, whereby the leaders have made it very clear that we cannot allow any foreigners in this our African continent to destabilize the region, to give advice on how we should solve these issues. President Uhuru Kenyatta, like we said, he made it very clear. President Museveni also made it very clear. President Kagame has repeatedly made it very clear that Africa can solve its issues. It doesn't really need any shepherding, or it doesn't need any supervision by anyone. We are grown men and women on this continent with enough intellectual firepower, with enough intellectual capability, to solve these problems. Most of our presidents, if you go and check them, have degrees and, in different fields. So when people like Blinken or Donald Trump go around, you see that they are equal. We are equal to them. So our leaders, I think they have demonstrated in this crisis, in this mutiny that is going on in Ethiopia, they have demonstrated the spirit of Pan-Africanism, and this spirit, which has been demonstrated in support of Ethiopia by the regional countries, I think needs to be extended all the way to the Congo to solve the problem that has been there for the last 60 years. Congo has been under siege by some rebel groups, which they say that there are almost around 200 rebel groups in the eastern part of that country. And Africa has to come up and solve this problem. So the spirit that has been demonstrated in Ethiopia and the solidarity that is also being demonstrated in standing up against the West in its boycott or its banning of Africans from traveling to Europe, that spirit, that solidarity should be demonstrated in solving all the African problems that are affecting the continent, whether it is the Sahel. France has to be put on notice that it cannot continue, operating on the continent and killing our people in Mali, Burkina Faso, and all these countries in Niger. France has been misbehaving all over here, killing our people, putting military boots on the ground in Ivory Coast, in Chad, Niger, Mali, all these countries, and the people are tired of France in these areas. So that spirit ought to be encouraged. It ought to be, told to the African leaders that we need this kind of spirit to continue. What you have demonstrated in Ethiopia in support of the government, democratically elected government of President, of the Prime Minister Abiy, needs to be extended to the other parts of Africa. And we need to start moving in unison, whether it is against coronavirus, whether it is asking for a seat at the United Nations Security Council, whether it is any conflict, whether it is any attack from foreigners. We need to move in unison. And we need to make it very clear that all of Africa, from Algeria, Morocco, all these countries belong to Africa. There's no Middle East. In the past, there has been some uncoordinated utterances, and Africa has been called the Middle East. In the northern part of Africa has been called Middle East. So we need to make it very clear, there's no Middle East in Africa. There's only Africa. There's one Africa, and we need to move in unison while we are solving our problems. So the Prime Minister has been really making all the right moves. And like Dr. Benjamin has said, we need to give him an award because he has consulted the continent when there was a problem, and he has made it very clear from the beginning that African problems have to be solved in Africa. It is the African Union. And this trust, he injected a lot of trust in the African Union, and lo and behold, the African Union also was able to do something by appointing President Obasanjo, who was also able to stand up, and the fruits, and actually Ethiopia now is reaping the fruits of trusting Africa and not taking issues outside of Africa. So we see that other Africans have been able to stand up for Ethiopia. The Prime Minister now is reaping those fruits of trusting, the ability of Africans to solve their own problems. And he has made it clear from the beginning that Africa has to solve its own problems. This is the spirit of Pan-Africanism, which we want to see. And like Dr. Benjamin has said, I think we need to reward the Prime Minister, and we need to continue to solve our problems in the same spirit. Thank you very much.